The engine groaned as Marcus Bell slammed the hood of his battered sedan, sweat streaking down his face in the blistering Georgia heat. He was 38, black, and bankrupt, the former CEO of a tech startup called Insight Dynamics that had once promised to revolutionize data systems for small businesses. Now, all he had were past due notices, a shuttered office, and a car held together by duct tape and prayer. He'd pulled off onto the gravel shoulder of a deserted country road to change a tire that had shredded after hitting a pothole. As he packed up the jack and wiped his hands on an old towel, the sound of twigs snapping caught his attention. A young white woman, blonde, disheveled, and dressed in what looked like designer running gear covered in mud, emerged from the tree line, her eyes wild and pleading. "Please," she gasped. "I need help. Can you drive me? I'll explain everything. I'm not dangerous. I swear." Marcus blinked, startled. Sure. Get in." She ducked down and climbed into the trunk without waiting for another word. 30 seconds later, as he restarted the car and merged back onto the road, 3 black SUVs with tinted windows appeared in his rearview mirror, rapidly gaining. They boxed him in like clockwork. One of the men, tall and built like a linebacker in a crisp suit, approached Marcus's window. "You seen a blonde woman out here?" the man asked, eyes scanning the car. "Maybe she asked for directions?" Marcus kept his hands on the wheel. "Just stopped to change a tire. Haven't seen anyone." The man didn't blink. He examined every inch of the car's interior, including the mud-streaked floor. After what felt like an eternity, he backed away and signaled the others. "You're free to go." As they peeled away in the SUVs, Marcus let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. The trunk popped open from the inside. "They gone?" came a voice. The blonde woman climbed out, brushing herself off. "Thank you," she said, her tone breathless but grateful. "I don't know what they would have done if you hadn't hidden me." Marcus adjusted the mirror to get a better look at her. "Who are they?" "My father's private security," she said. "I'm Ava Whitmore. My dad is Franklin Whitmore. Maybe you've heard of him?" Marcus froze. Franklin Whitmore, the CEO of Whitmore Global, a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate infamous for hostile takeovers. The same company that had crushed Insight Dynamics by acquiring his main competitor, poaching his contracts, and poisoning investor trust. "Marcus Bell," he said finally. She nodded, eyeing his expression. "Let me guess. Another casualty of my father's business model." He didn't respond. She reached into her jacket and pulled out a small flash drive. "I ran away with this. It's proof of everything: fraud, tax evasion, bribery. Everything he's done to build his empire." A chime from Marcus's phone interrupted them. He looked at the screen, a license plate alert. His car had just been flagged as stolen. "Your father's already making moves," he said, holding the screen toward her. "We need to disappear now." She scanned the horizon. "There's a dirt road about 2 kilometers ahead. Turn left there." He followed her directions. The narrow path led them through thick forest until they reached a secluded, weather-beaten cabin. "My father bought this decades ago," Ava explained. "He probably forgot it even exists." Inside, the air was stale and everything was coated in dust. Marcus opened his laptop and inserted the flash drive. File after file loaded onto the screen. Memos detailing backdoor deals, spreadsheets listing shell company payments, emails bribing officials, and one document that made Marcus's heart stop: a detailed strategy to sabotage Insight Dynamics through false PR, server crashes, and leaks. "He ordered a cyber attack," Marcus said slowly. "He planted fake news and destroyed our investor relations. This wasn't competition. This was war." Ava's expression darkened. "That's how he does everything. If he can't buy it, he breaks it. We need help." "Legal and technical," Marcus said. "I know someone." The next day, they arrived in Augusta, where a modest office bore the name Simone Alvarez, attorney at law. Simone was a sharp, no-nonsense lawyer with a passion for justice and a history of taking on corporate Goliaths. She'd once tried to help Marcus when Insight Dynamics was crumbling. Simone reviewed the files, her eyes narrowing as she scrolled. "This is damning. But he has friends in high places. We'll need strategic leaks, airtight evidence, and media coordination." She brought in Devin Yee, a cybersecurity expert Marcus had met years earlier. Devin had worked for the NSA before becoming a privacy consultant. Together, the four formed a team of rebels. For weeks, they worked out of an abandoned co-working space with makeshift desks and blackout curtains. Ava still had credentials that let them slip past firewalls and access company records. One night, they intercepted an email thread between Franklin and a sitting senator. "He's bribing public officials," Devin confirmed. Simone organized everything into secure files, planning a multi-pronged legal strike. Marcus coordinated with journalists under strict NDAs. Meanwhile, Ava began reaching out to other corporate victims: women, black founders, immigrants, anyone pushed out by Whitmore Global. Their testimonies became an integral part of the mounting case. Their break came during Whitmore Global's annual investor summit in Atlanta. Franklin was set to announce a new acquisition live on cable business news. As the cameras rolled, Devin infiltrated the broadcast feed. Ava appeared on every screen, reciting an opening statement: "What you are about to see is the truth." Emails, video clips, and spreadsheets filled the screens. Reporters in the crowd received simultaneous email drops. Franklin faltered. "Shut it down," he screamed. But it was too late. Simone walked in with federal agents. "We've verified every document. You're under investigation for corporate sabotage, wire fraud, and racketeering." Franklin looked at Marcus, eyes narrowing. "You think this redeems your failure?" "No," Marcus said. "But it stops yours." In the weeks that followed, Whitmore Global collapsed. Ava helped launch the Whitmore Foundation to fund startups from marginalized communities. Marcus used his settlement to launch NovaCore, a socially focused tech incubator. 3 years later, NovaCore had helped over 20 minority-led startups launch. Simone was appointed a federal judge. Devin ran a cybersecurity nonprofit. And Ava led the foundation bearing her name, repurposing her inheritance for good. On NovaCore's rooftop, Marcus and Ava stood watching the sunset. "Ever wonder what would have happened if I hadn't stopped to change that tire?" Marcus asked. Ava smiled. "I don't. We were meant to cross paths." Together, they toppled a titan and built something stronger from the rubble. This time, no one would be forgotten. The engine groaned as Marcus Bell slammed the hood of his battered sedan, sweat streaking down his face in the blistering Georgia heat. He was 38, black, and bankrupt, the former CEO of a tech startup called Insight Dynamics that had once promised to revolutionize data systems for small businesses. Now, all he had were past due notices, a shuttered office, and a car held together by duct tape and prayer. He'd pulled off onto the gravel shoulder of a deserted country road to change a tire that had shredded after hitting a pothole. As he packed up the jack and wiped his hands on an old towel, the sound of twigs snapping caught his attention. A young white woman, blonde, disheveled, and dressed in what looked like designer running gear covered in mud, emerged from the tree line, her eyes wild and pleading. "Please," she gasped. "I need help. Can you drive me? I'll explain."